All right, let's talk about Justin Jefferson. He had a huge statistical day. His tape was great. And the main thing I want to talk about is going to be how he was used in particular. So they used him in a very similar Cooper Kupp-y style way. New head coach is from, was with Cooper Kupp last year, seemingly is using a lot of those same tricks. But first, let's just start off with a relatively simple play. This is just going to be him winning in man coverage against Eric Stokes. Eric Stokes, the second-year corner for Green Bay. It's a one-on-one matchup against man coverage without really any safety help. There is a safety deep, but he won't be able to come into this play. So one-on-one matchup. Let's just see how Justin Jefferson is able to win at these matchups. It's always that first step, right? Always comes down to that first step. That's what can just propel the rest of the play. And Jefferson, what he's doing here is kind of fakes that it was going to the right, but it's going to instead go to the left. Very simple, but doing this stuff makes a world of difference. If you don't do the little things here at the beginning of the play, it's not going to allow you to be able to get open deep down the field. Corners in the NFL are too good. You have to do all the little things well, and Jefferson does. So then when he goes to the left, you see how he is able to blow by Stokes, and he has maybe a step on Stokes, but keep in mind, Stokes, one of the fastest corners in the NFL, one of the fastest players in the NFL. So getting a step on him is maybe not as valuable as getting a step on a slower corner. Stokes is going to have to make sure he hustles to get back to Jefferson, but it's not quite the same as if it was someone who had to literally go all out and we're going to be screwed otherwise. But this is where Jefferson's great ability to A, still be very fast himself, but B, cut so well comes into play. Watch him then cut over the middle. He gets wide open, makes the grab, and they're able to pick up a huge chunk play right there. So that's what Jefferson can do in one-on-one matchups. So this is not really scheme. This is not really anything other than Jefferson just being awesome. So great stuff there. But I want to talk about the scheme now. Like a play like this is a great example of, I saw some criticism going Green Bay's way of certain plays, but part of it was set up by good game plans of Minnesota, where what you're going to see here is it's a zone coverage play, quarters coverage that Green Bay is in, and you see the concept where you have your plus receiver, also known as your number one receiver, or more simply known as the guy closest towards the sideline, running a go route, and then the number two receiver, the other guy in that area, just running a route that will hopefully get into a gap in coverage, kind of past the linebacker, but underneath the corner. Typically, you think, okay, who is the plus receiver? It's going to be Justin Jefferson, right? It's going to be your premier, awesome wide receiver who, as good as Adam Thielen is, you typically would say Justin Jefferson is better. Justin Jefferson's there, though. Justin Jefferson is not the plus receiver, and this is kind of, again, this sort of new school mentality of you don't have to make your best receiver be on the outside every play. You could have the guy who's going to get the ball be your best receiver. That's something you're allowed to do. So when this play begins, you see how the corner takes away Thielen, but now you have a linebacker on Justin Jefferson. This is a massive mismatch. It's already a mismatch, a corner on Jefferson. It's really hard to cover Justin Jefferson, and I think that's why a lot of head coaches will typically say, my guy is good enough that he can beat a corner, and then I'll put someone else on the linebacker who can, that the linebacker has to cover that can also hopefully get open. But in football, you can only throw to one guy, right? You only need one guy to get open, so why not make sure that you get that one guy as open as possible? So then Kirk is going to hit Jefferson, and Jefferson does a great job after the catch of picking up as many yards as possible. And this is very Cooper Kupp style approach. This is exactly how Cooper Kupp was used and why he was able to have such a dominant season. And we're seeing kind of the same ideas go with Jefferson, which is what's exciting and probably why he will rack up 1 billion yards this season. Like this play is another example where it's going to be a man coverage play and you see where Jefferson is on the field. Again, what do most teams do here? Hey, we got Jefferson. Let's have him run a fade route. We'll be good, right? High reward, low risk type play. Cool, let's do that. Instead, Jefferson's going to go in motion right here. So what's going to happen is Rasul Douglas for Green Bay, who's a good corner, is going to call for a switch. He has someone on the other side of the field pick up Justin Jefferson. This is something that you will often do in the NFL, is you get a switch going so that way, you don't have to have one player running across the entire field. That can create some traffic, which can create some, inadvertent pick plays and things like that. Just call for a switch. Makes sense. The issue, when Jefferson gets over there, nobody picks up Jefferson. He's able to get a free touchdown right there. So again, many people would say, well, why are you even using Jefferson there? Why not use a different player to do that? But if that's the route that has the highest percentage of getting open, wouldn't you want your best receiver to do it? He can get there the quickest. If he has to break a tackle, he can. If he has to make a tough catch, he can. Yes, you'd rather have all of that stuff. So it's just really smart football, and I think it's something that we're going to see used much more commonly. We're already seeing it getting used much more commonly, but I think that at a certain point, every receiver that is a number one receiver will get used like KUPP gets used and like we're seeing Jefferson get used. In fact, this play got me thinking a little bit about could there be a potential counter move for defenses. So again, you're going to see that Jefferson is not the number one receiver right here. He is the number two receiver, meaning once this play begins, due to it being quarters coverage, you now have Jair Alexander covering a different player, and you have Jefferson running directly into a couple of safeties. So the downside of this, of course, is that there's two safeties who can come in and make a play, but the plus side is that you're avoiding Jair Alexander, who is the Green Bay Packers' best, defensive player, period, I would say. However, sure, it's a mismatch having Jefferson against a safety, but what about two safeties? That feels like it's a much more even battle. But Jefferson can do things that can really work. You see how he's kind of faking as though he's going to his left, and this is where his route running comes into play. He's, I'm not going to say he's Devontae Adams level of route runners, but I'm not going to say it either. He is very much up there with the best route runners in football. He's faking as though he's going to the left, so the safety, who is to his right, which is closer to the top of the screen, does not feel like he has to really cover Jefferson on this play. So he wants to make sure he can potentially be in position to, if it's a thrower more shallower, take something away over there. So when Jefferson does eventually cut back to his right, he gets way past the safety who is in that direction, and that's how he's able to pick up a big chunk play. And that's Adrian Amos. That's a great safety for Green Bay, and he's, being able to fool him. So again, you're putting him in the right position. It made me wonder a little bit, if you're playing a team like the Vikings and the way they do this, do you start lining up your corners in different positions? Maybe you do. Maybe you have Jair Alexander, move in different positions and kind of you disrupt your own defense just to cover him. I think he's at that level where you can't just pretend he's another guy. He's a great player. You have to adjust accordingly. You do have more simple plays, which this is going to be always a way that you use Justin Jefferson. His rookie season, this was kind of his main play. He's since then branched off and been able to do a lot more things and improved significantly from year one to year two, and we're even seeing more improvements so far from year two to game one of year three. But these plays can still be very effective. It's a zone coverage play. You run a play action to get linebackers to move in a little bit, and then you have Jefferson kind of run underneath the safety. Hopefully he gets open. Cousins is going to take the snap. He is going to run a play action, and Jefferson is going to get open right here, wide open, in fact. And this is where Cousins does a good job, I think. He's a little bit more patient than maybe the average quarterback would have, just allows Jefferson to get as open as possible, allows him to get as many yards as possible, and they get all the available yards. He gets into the end zone for a touchdown. So again, great job by Jefferson after the catch. That's another aspect of his game that he has that other people do not have. So that's just, again, he checks all the boxes for wide receivers. I think a play like this is another great example of okay, you have Jefferson in a great situation here. He is the outside receiver to the offense's left here, running a route over the middle against man coverage. This is a good situation. These routes can work. A lot of teams say, great, win your route. We're going to be paying you a lot of money soon. You're a number one guy. This is what you're going to get paid for. But let's be honest, that's foolish. Yes, Jefferson can win with, at a high rate, but nobody wins at an 100% rate. So why not raise that percentage as much as possible? And that's what the Vikings are going to do here. Another receiver will run that route right there, and it's essentially just like a rub route, but very far down the field. So, one Cousins takes the snap. You see how this rub happens right now to where the corner can't really get in position to cover Jefferson the way he potentially could if there wasn't this other route. Jefferson still has a great chance to win. He's Justin Jefferson. He can win one-on-ones consistently, but why not just give an extra thing in your favor to make it easier for him to win? As you see, he eventually gets wide open and is able to still make a very good grab, and they're able to pick up, again, a big chunk play. So being able to do this stuff and do this stuff consistently, it's exactly what made Cooper Kupp have this huge jump last year, I think, and it's also what's going to make Jefferson probably have a huge jump this year. The one more thing I should mention is, I haven't shown him playing against Jair Alexander yet because, the Vikings did a great job of avoiding Jair Alexander with Jefferson. Smart play. Again, go away, find your weakest link, right? That's what football is. It's a weak link sport. Find the opponent's weak link and take advantage. But still, Jefferson can beat Jair Alexander. It's a one-on-one matchup right here. And once this play begins, again, good first step. The throw was a good one. And while he didn't actually make the grab in bounds, that was because he got pushed away. It was a pass interference, so it worked the same. That's just what Jefferson can do, even to the best in the NFL. And it's why I'm very excited to see where they go from here. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.